Hi there! I have seen that you have moved your way up to the intermediate category. Today, we're heading to another topic, which is what to do when you have other Vietnamese people in the house sharing the meal with you. The first important note is actually an extension of the things that I've shared with you in the first episodes, which is don't rest your chin on your hand while you're sitting at the table. In Vietnam, resting your chin on your hand while you're sitting at the table can be considered extremely impolite. It can come across as rude and disrespectful and lazy. And trust me, you don't want to be scolded over this. Instead, if you have not eaten yet, you should make sure that you are laying your hands on your table. And if you have already eaten, you should also make sure that you're holding the bowls and your chopsticks at all time. It maybe is a small gesture, but it is a great way to show people around you that you're focusing on the meal and that you are respecting the people sitting next to you. The second thing that I want you to remember is to not use your own personal spoons or chopsticks to stir at the communal bowl. And why is that? Because in Vietnam, dishes are often shared among everybody else at the table. So imagine all of the bacteria that can happen when you decide to stir your own personal utensils at the shared bowl. I don't really fancy the idea of that. So instead, what you want to do is to use the provided utensils at the tray, or you can just choose the thing at the top of the dishes without stirring things up. That will show that you care about cleanliness and you care about everybody else at the table. The third note that I want to share with you guys, and this is extremely important for foodies like I am, is that you don't want to dig through the dish just for the best piece. I know that in a shared platter, there can be, better looking pieces or bigger pieces that you want to get for yourself. But in Vietnam, we're all about a sense of community and consideration for the other people in the meal, especially for elderlies. So you might want to spare those pieces for the elderly people, or just your mom and your dad and the locals that have like a higher age than you. But in case you still want to have a good meal for yourself, you can do one of these three things. First, just take what is easily accessible and to pick out the pieces on top or the pieces that are easily taken without having to stir everything up. Second thing that you may want to do is that if the piece that you like are not really accessible from your place of sitting, you can ask other people in the meal, probably your mom, your dad, to take that piece for you. And maybe that's usually what I do. The next thing that I want you to remember is actually the same with the notes that I have shared with you before about not sticking your own chopsticks into the communal bowl. The next rule applied to the dipping sauce bowl itself is that you don't dip the tip of your chopstick in the dipping sauce bowl. And because the dipping sauce is also shared about everybody else at that table, so what you want to do is just to dip your own food. Yes, your food only, not the tip of the chopsticks at the dipping sauce. I know it can be a hard skill to master at first because it's all about how you hold the chopsticks and the elegance that carry with it, but this is something that you want to remember and to make sure that you are enhancing the cleanliness for everybody else at the table. Another important note that I want you to remember is that you don't get to return the same piece of food back to the dipping sauce bowl once you have bitten into it, because once you bite into it, it's already carried your own bacteria. Just to return that piece back to the dipping sauce bowl defeats all the purpose that I just shared with you. So make sure when you're dipping your piece of food in the dipping sauce, make sure that you have dipped enough so that the sauce will be evenly coated for all the piece of the food so that you only need to dip it one time. Easy. For the final rule, I want you to take a look at the scenario to see if there's anything wrong with it. It may be hard to figure it out at first, but if you look closely, the girl is clearly unhappy because the first girl decided to use the tip of the chopstick, the one that she has already eaten with, to pick up the food for her. It may seem like an extremely unhygienic act and can make other people in the meal, whatever your good intentions is, may be unhappy. So what you want to do is actually very simple. You just need to reverse your chopsticks and use the clean, unused end of the chopsticks to pick up the food for others. That shows that you care about them and you care about hygiene. Okay, that's all I had to teach you during the intermediate level. I hope you had a good time taking all the notes down. And be prepared for the next video, which will be about how to use the utensils right and how to eat your food right. Stay tuned!